Admonish. Part of speech, verb. GRE synonym, reprimand, reproach. Example sentence, the teacher had to admonish the student for talking during the exam. Aesthetic. Part of speech, adjective. GRE synonym, artistic, beautiful. Example sentence, the art exhibit was full of aesthetic beauty that left visitors speechless. Affectation. Part of speech, noun. GRE synonym, pretense, pretentiousness. Example sentence, the politician's affected accent was obvious to everyone in the audience. Alleviate. Part of speech, verb. GRE synonym, ease, mitigate. Example sentence, the painkiller helped to alleviate the patient's discomfort. Analogous. Part of speech, adjective. GRE synonym, similar, comparable. Example sentence, the way the two languages evolved was analogous to each other. Bolster. Part of speech, verb. GRE synonym, strengthen, support. Example sentence, the new evidence bolstered the case against the defendant. Chauvinistic. Part of speech, adjective. GRE synonym, patriotic, nationalistic. Example sentence, his chauvinistic attitude towards his country was off-putting to his colleagues. Connoisseur. Part of speech, noun. GRE synonym, expert, aficionado. Example sentence, the wine connoisseur could easily identify the age and origin of any wine he tasted. Dissemble. Part of speech, verb. GRE synonym, conceal, mask. Example sentence, the spy had to dissemble his true identity to remain undercover. Dogged. Part of speech, adjective. GRE synonym, persistent, tenacious. Example sentence, the detective's dogged pursuit of the suspect finally paid off. Dupe. Part of speech, noun/verb. GRE synonym, fool, deceive. Example sentence, the con artist was able to dupe the elderly couple into giving him all their money. Empirical. Part of speech, adjective. GRE synonym, observable, measurable. Example sentence, the scientist used empirical data to support her hypothesis. Engender. Part of speech, verb. GRE synonym, create, generate. Example sentence, the new policies are expected to engender positive changes in the community. Entitled. Part of speech, adjective/verb. GRE synonym, authorized, claim. Example sentence, the entitled student expected to receive special treatment from the teacher. Pertinacious. Part of speech, adjective. GRE synonym, tenacious, persistent. Example sentence, the lawyer's pertinacious approach to the case helped her win the lawsuit. Presumptuous. Part of speech, adjective. GRE synonym, arrogant, audacious. Example sentence, it was presumptuous of him to assume that he was the best candidate for the job. Probity. Part of speech, noun. GRE synonym, integrity, honesty. Example sentence, the judge's probity was never in question during the trial. Proliferate. Part of speech, verb. GRE synonyms, increase, propagate, multiply. Sentence, the number of social media users seems to proliferate every year. Specious. Part of speech, adjective. GRE synonyms, deceptive, misleading, fallacious. Sentence, the salesman's specious promises lured the customers into buying a faulty product. Spurious. Part of speech, adjective. GRE synonyms, false, bogus, fake. Sentence, the news report was based on spurious information and was later retracted. Subjective. Part of speech, adjective. GRE synonyms, personal, biased, partial. Sentence, It's difficult to have a subjective conversation about politics because everyone has their own beliefs and opinions. Subvert. Part of speech, verb. GRE synonyms: undermine, sabotage, overthrow. Sentence: the rebel group sought to subvert the government by launching a violent attack. Timorous. Part of speech, adjective. GRE synonyms: timid, fearful, apprehensive. Sentence: the timorous puppy cowered in the corner at the sound of thunder. Tortuous. Part of speech, adjective. GRE synonyms: winding, circuitous, convoluted. Sentence: the tortuous path through the forest was challenging to navigate. Tractable. Part of speech, adjective. GRE synonyms: compliant, docile, obedient. Sentence: the young student was tractable and always followed the teacher's instructions. Transient. Part of speech, adjective. GRE synonyms: temporary, fleeting, brief. Sentence: the beauty of the sunset is transient and lasts only a few moments. Ubiquitous. Part of speech, adjective. GRE synonyms: omnipresent, pervasive, ubiquitous. Sentence: in the modern world, smartphones have become ubiquitous and are found everywhere. Underscore. Part of speech, verb. GRE synonyms: emphasize, highlight, accentuate. Sentence: the coach used statistics to underscore the importance of teamwork to the players. Venal. Part of speech, adjective. GRE synonyms: corrupt, bribable, unethical. Sentence: the venal official took bribes in exchange for granting favors to certain individuals. Venerate. Part of speech, verb. GRE synonyms: revere, honor, respect. Sentence: many people venerate their ancestors by offering them gifts and prayers. Once upon a time, there was a tortuous maze that led to a hidden treasure. The maze was so difficult to navigate that only the most timorous and tractable adventurers would even consider attempting it. But despite the danger, rumors about the treasure had begun to proliferate throughout the nearby town, and soon everyone was talking about it. One day, a group of friends decided to venture into the maze to find the treasure. They were a subjective bunch, each with their own opinions on how to approach the challenge. Some were specious, thinking they knew the right path, while others were spurious, pretending they had experience with maze solving. As they made their way through the maze, their different personalities began to subvert the mission. The timorous ones were afraid of the dark corners, and the more tortuous the path became, the more they began to argue with each other. The group couldn't agree on which way to go, and it soon became apparent that they were hopelessly lost. Just when they thought they would never find their way out, they stumbled upon the treasure. But as they reached for it, a transient gust of wind blew it away, leaving them with nothing but an underscored lesson. They realized that the treasure they sought was not something to venerate, but rather a venal trap that had led them on a wild goose chase. As they made their way back through the maze, the friends couldn't help but laugh at how foolish they had been. They had learned that sometimes, the things that seem ubiquitous and attractive are not always what they appear to be. And as they emerged from the maze, they knew that they would always remember their misadventure with a sense of humor and humility. Another story. Once upon a time, there was a young man named Jack who was an aspiring artist. He had always been interested in the aesthetic of the world around him and found beauty in even the most mundane things. But despite his talent, he often felt like he was not taken seriously as a connoisseur of art. People would admonish him for his work, saying that it was nothing more than an affectation, a mere hobby that would never amount to anything. One day, Jack met a woman named Lily who shared his love for art. Unlike others, she saw the potential in his work and wanted to help him achieve his dreams. Her support was a great alleviate to Jack, who had struggled for years with feelings of doubt and insecurity. As they spent more time together, they discovered that they had many things in common. They were both fascinated by the way things engendered emotions in people, and they would often debate the subjective nature of beauty. Despite their different views, they respected each other's opinions and were never presumptuous or chauvinistic about their own beliefs. Jack was amazed by Lily's pertinacious spirit and her ability to navigate the most tortuous situations with ease. She was a woman who could subvert expectations and always find a way to bolster those around her. And despite her timorous demeanor, she was a person of great probity who always spoke her mind and never dissembled her true feelings. As they fell deeper in love, Jack realized that Lily was the missing piece that he had been looking for. She was the dupe he needed to see the world in a different way, to view the world through a lens of empirical exploration. They were like two analogues that complemented each other perfectly, and they knew that their love was not transient, but rather something that would proliferate and grow stronger with time. Together, they traveled the world, experiencing the ubiquitous beauty that surrounded them. They laughed and cried, venerated the things that mattered, and underscored the moments that they would never forget. And as they sat on a quiet beach, watching the sunset, Jack knew that he had found his soulmate, the one person who could see beyond the spurious nature of the world and help him create something truly meaningful.